What's going on, guys? Chris here. I'm gonna do something different this week, or today rather, because I've done like 20 videos this week already. Um, where I go over with you guys what I've been listening to a lot this week. Me and my buddy Austin. I'm gonna call this series "What's in My Stack." Something that me and my buddy Austin, who we talk music. General will ask each other, oh, what's in your stack this week? Shh. So I thought that I would bring that to you guys and let you guys know what I've been listening to. And my friend Austin, by the way, if you're watching this, which he told me he would, he wants to start his own channel as far as talking about movies and such, and he's very knowledgeable on that, and he won't do it, or at least he hasn't done it yet, so if you're watching this, you better do it. So anyways, when I do these videos, I'm sure there's going to be a couple things in here that people, at least in the crowd that I'm trying to gear towards, are probably not going to like. Like I've told you guys before, I listen to everything, and I listen to a lot of like 90s kind of stuff, and I know that's, really frowned upon in this community, if you want to call it that. I think we all listen to stuff that we might worry that if people found out that we listen to, they might think of us differently. I really don't care if someone would ever stop watching my videos. If I ever, if someone were to stop watching my videos because I listen to, a couple of things I have in here, then whatever, I don't need them. At least just that's how I feel. I never judge someone on what they listen to. It's music, it's your own taste, it's what you like. Who you or I or anybody to tell someone what to listen to. It's just how I look at it. So with that being said, I'll get a couple of the non-metal stuff out of the way. I won't spend too much time on them, just, to get to the stuff that you guys might care about. So the first one being Red Hot Chili Peppers, Californication. I think everybody knows Red Hot Chili Peppers. I mean, they are what they are. You like them or you don't like them, whatever. Yeah, I mean, this is, like I said before, my first video, this is just the kind of stuff I grew up on. It's never going to leave me. So yeah, that's that. Probably one of my favorite album covers of all time, too, by the way. But these songs, Californication, Scar Tissue, Around the World. I mean, people know these songs. You probably heard them 5 trillion times. But I like it. The second non-metal thing I have is this album by a band called The Idols, or just Idols, whatever. Ultramono. They're like a British punk band. I believe this came out in 2019, 2020 maybe. It's a really good album if you like punk music. The vocals are different. Not just because he's British, but they're just very shouty kind of vocals. Yeah, they're really good. They're really good at writing choruses. A lot of great choruses on here. There's like some noise style parts in here. There's just some straight up rock and roll type stuff on here. I don't know. There's just a lot of, it's different. Every song feels different. It's a really good album. Check it out if you're into any kind of punk music or just rock music in general. You might like that. And then the last non-metal thing I have, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard, maybe a lot of you have liked. I don't know of anybody that doesn't at least appreciate this album, and that's Bitches Brew by Miles Davis. There's not much that can be said about this album. I mean, it's a classic. Came out in, was it 69? No, 1970 apparently. I thought it was 69, but this says 1970. There's really no words for this. I mean, it's all over the place. It's just, it's almost like, I guess you might consider it the first Fusion album. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know my jazz history at all. There's a few jazz artists I like, Miles Davis being one of them. But this is, I feel like a metalhead could appreciate this album a lot. it's just out there. It's abstract, it's noisy, it's chaotic at times. Other times it's like almost dreamy. It's a good album. And this is like the special box set edition, I believe. I don't know when it came out, 2004. It's got a bunch of unreleased tracks on it, um, and just this giant book, just of the backstory of the album, and about some of the tracks and just what went into making it. And it's very cool. It's like almost 100 pages or something like that. Yeah, 90 pages. Worth checking out. I don't know what this goes for. I got this used at my local record store. I think I only paid like 15 bucks. I think it's worth a lot more than that, if I'm not mistaken, when I looked on Discogs at it. But yeah, I mean, if you haven't heard this, that's like essential listening for any fan of any music. You should give that a shot. And now for the stuff that people might actually care about. So first thing I got here, I don't know exactly how to pronounce this. I believe this band is from Israel, I want to say, which is Chaos Dei, I don't know, Dei. The album is called Arrising from Chaos. It's just black thrash, essentially. Not black thrash. I think it's just black metal with thrashy elements in it. The drum sound on this is awesome. I don't know. That's like the only thing that really stood out to me. Otherwise, it's pretty run-of-the-mill, black, thrash. I guess I'll call it black thrash. Some cool riffs. Like I said, the drums sound really good on this album. I believe this is like their only album, I want to say. I know I looked them up in Metal Archives. I think this was it. I think they had another EP. This is really good though. It's worth checking out. I have no idea when it came out. There's no year on this thing. But yeah, that's a good little underground band to check out. The next thing I got here is Despised Icon, Consumed by Your Poison. This is one of the first deathcore bands, and it's one of the only still that I like. But it's one of the first I ever listened to. I don't think the drums are a machine on here, but they almost sound like it's a drum machine. It doesn't sound. I don't know if it's just the way that they were recorded, but I don't know. It just sounds like a drum machine. It doesn't sound like a human drumming on there. Not to say that it's like it's just like that complicated. It's just, I don't know. It just sounds computerized to me. Yeah, I mean, deathcore is not a lot of people's thing. It's not really my thing, at all. But they're one of the bands I like. The vocals are just ridiculous on here. They're like either so low that you can barely make out that it's even like a vocal. It's not just like mixed in with the guitars, or they're like, the pig squeal, like, which I'm not really into that much. I don't like brutal death metal, deathcore stuff that much. But this is one of the ones I got into really early on, and I believe they were one of the more popular deathcore bands back in the day. I think they're still around. I don't listen to them really, and it's not a genre I really pay much attention to, but I believe that they're still around. Next on here we got Absu, and I forget how to pronounce this friggin'. Some of these bands, like the especially black metal bands, the albums names are just ridiculous. The Third Storm of Cyrthaul. This was their third album, I believe. Yeah, this is went in a different direction than what they were really doing at the time. This is just straight up black thrash. This is like just crazy, chaotic, ridiculous guitar solos. The vocals are like screechy kind of. I mean, they're definitely just like traditional black metal vocals, but there's just a lot of, it's just in a higher range. I mean, some of these on here are just nasty. But you get going. Yeah, I would imagine Absu if you're watching this, and if you haven't, then I would check them out. They're not around anymore as Absu. I know that they broke up, but some of the members, or one of the members, continue on as is it Prospector McGovern's Absu, or some stupid name like that. which they list on Spotify is just under Absu. They're listed together. So I don't know if how much of the band it's remains now. I know it doesn't have too much of a different sound to it. So I'm assuming it might be the same vocalist. I'm not 100% sure. It sounds pretty damn close. But yeah, I mean, if you don't know Absu, you should probably check him out. Next on here, I got Municipal Waste, The Last Rager. This came out a few years ago, 2019. This is like 10 minutes long, if even that. It is like such a short EP. Wave of Death is a cool little instrumental. And you know what you're getting with Municipal Waste. I've just been kind of in the mood now, especially after ranking Toxic Holocaust. And I mean, you can tell there's some of the stuff on here. It's leaning towards thrash. And this is, you know, it's Municipal Waste. They kind of don't change really that much. Sounds good though, you know, if you're into, you know, that kind of thing. Let's see. The next thing I got here is something, I don't know if a lot of you have heard of this. I had never heard of this until I was looking at some upcoming albums coming out. And I saw this band on this list that they were like a 90s band getting 2 of their albums re-released. I don't remember the name. I know I have it ordered, but the second album, I believe it's on its way and should be here. I think it's coming out this week, I want to say. But that'd be Invocator, and this is Excusrion Demise. This is some early, I mean, it's borderline death, but it's not. I mean, it's not at all, but it's kind of in that ilk. But it's like really technical thrash metal. Yeah, I had never heard of them. I guess this album came out in 1991, so it's kind of a little late in regards to thrash. Maybe that's why they're kind of just like a forgotten about band. But I liked what I heard a lot. I checked it out briefly, and I'm like, all right, this is up my alley. So then I stopped listening, and I waited to get this in the mail. And I just got it the other day, and this is really good stuff. It's just really technical thrash. It's more along the lines of like a, not quite as harsh as like a Sadist, but it's pretty harsh, but in a good way. A little more, like I said, on the technical side. Yeah, I would check this out. And like I said, they got another album getting re-released, and who's doing the re-release? Oh, Hammerheart. So they got another one coming out, and I believe they have 2 other albums besides those that I haven't listened to yet. I don't know if they've ever been re-released. I think one came out a few years after these ones, because the first one came out in 91, this one was 91, second one was 93, and I had one a couple years after that, and then I believe it was like a 10-year gap or so, and it was like 2003 or 4 that they put out another one. I'm gonna guess, knowing how a lot of those bands' history seem to go, that, you know, a lot of those early bands, you know, when they break up and then they get back together, you know, in that early 2000s time period, they always seem to lean towards like the new metal style of, and they don't really carry over much of the thrash or the death or whatever. At least that's what it seems like a lot of bands did that didn't stick around very much. So yeah, I would check that out though. It's very worth it. All right, and then the last 2 I got in here are 2 newer releases. The first being Watain, the Agony and Ecstasy of Watain. It's about what you'd expect. They're one of my favorite modern black metal bands. Yeah, I mean, I feel like they get pushed a lot. Like, I feel like, you know, people claim them to be like, you know, the greatest black metal band ever. I don't think that they're the best. I think they're one of the best. I just think people have like this notion that like they just, either they set the bar too high and people are just like off put by that, or they're just, you know, I don't know. But I enjoy them quite a lot. There's like a little bit of the mix sounds great, but it's still got enough of the like the lo-fi. It's just got like touches of, you know, lo-fi sound to it, but it still sounds great. I believe this was, if I was reading about this album a little bit, that they recorded this in like some abandoned church or whatever. I don't know. It definitely has like that kind of sound to it. It has like a, I don't know what the word would be. It just sounds live. It just doesn't sound like a studio to me. I don't know. Yeah, the solos on here are great. They rate great hooks. It reminded me a lot of just Emperor minus a little bit of the symphonic elements, or minus a lot of it actually. They don't do much of that, some of it, but and a little bit of Immortal. It's just got that second wave sound to it. This is worth checking out for sure. And the last thing I got that I've been listening to a lot is the new Undeath album. It's Time to Rise from the Grave. This thing rips. It's, I feel like, so much better than their last album, Legions of a Different Kind. This thing is just, I don't know, the mix is so much better on here. In Legions, the vocals were so up front, and it just kind of, everything sounded like loud. Like, I don't know, not in a good way. Like, I mean, I like that album a lot. I love Undeath. But that album is just, I don't know, I didn't like the way it was mixed. I enjoyed it, but I just didn't, I don't know, the vocals are too up front. This, they're a little further back. The mix is almost a little muddier sounding in a way, but like a good type of muddy. Yeah, if you don't know Undeath, check them out. They're just one of the better bands doing the, you know, new wave of old school death metal. A lot of those bands tend to sound samey. I think Undeath just has that element that just puts them ahead of some of the others. That could be just my personal taste. I don't know. I mean, you'd have to listen to it and check it out yourself if you've never heard it. Make that decision on your own. So that's what I got. That's what I've been listening to. I haven't decided yet what band I'll do next for an album ranking. Or, you know, what other things I might have coming up. I don't know. I got a few ideas, but I haven't quite decided yet. I kind of don't want to, you know, use all my favorite bands and rank the albums like right away, you know. Save me stuff to do, you know, hopefully in the future. I don't want to waste everything all right up front. So yeah, so that's all I got for you now. I should be seeing you guys soon, hopefully. I won't be stuck in my house for too much longer with COVID. I feel totally fine, but I still got to isolate for now. But I'm nearing the end, thank God. So I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.